Here we go. I realized when I was doing a couple of these rankings that, wow, there's been a decent amount of actresses that has played Catwoman. So why not rank all of the actresses that have played Catwoman? I have a decent amount, but I will mention right off the bat that I do not have Eartha Kitt listed here because I never saw her as Catwoman. I am aware that she played Catwoman in season 3 of Batman Adam West. So let's just jump right to the actresses that I have seen play Catwoman. Dead last, Halle Berry. And I'm sorry, it's too easy to beat up on Halle Berry for her part, for her role in Catwoman, because it's that bad. It is. It's not even like I can say, well, in retrospect, or oh no, there's a redeeming quality to it in the way that like Schwarzenegger played it in Batman and Robin. No, there's no redeeming qualities to her as Catwoman. Yes, Halle Berry in general is very attractive. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. And yes, I have seen her act well in other movies. So I don't want to say that she's a bad actress, but in this film, she's terrible. She's terrible. That could have a lot to do with the direction and the writing. And so there's that. But it is. She's very over the top. She agreed to do scenes where she's rubbing catnip all over her face, where she's sitting there eating tuna fish out of a can. Oh boy, like there's so much wrong with the way how her version of Catwoman is portrayed. She hisses at dogs, like they have her act legit like a real cat, as if she's Spider-Man and she got bit by a cat, and so now she has to act like a cat. She has the characteristics of a cat, right? Yeah, that's what Catwoman is, right? No, wrong. And the way how she gets brought back to life, having the breath breathed into her by a cat, a CGI cat nonetheless. This is terrible. God damn it, let's move on. Let's move up to Lee Meriwether, who I've seen the Batman 66 movie. I believe that's the only time that she played Catwoman. And so I don't think she's necessarily terrible. I just think that there's nothing all that memorable about her. She's just sort of here. She fills the role. The most I remember about her is that she seduces Bruce Wayne out of costume, and they have that whole random side romantic plot that doesn't really go anywhere. Julie Newmar, who I have at least seen clips of her from the first 2 seasons of the show. And again, not my favorite, but I do feel like she has something that Lee Meriwether didn't have. She did have the attitude, she did have that charisma, that presence. It was over the top, sure, but it was the 60s show. That's what that show merited. That's what it warranted. And I thought she also had a much more memorable look in the costume. Adrienne Barbeau. I almost wanted to have her higher because she does the voice of Catwoman from Batman the Animated Series. Her voice is very memorable, recognizable when I think of Catwoman and some of the stuff that they had her do in that series. Her back and forth with Bruce Wayne, more so Batman, and how Batman always saw the good in her. It was classic Catwoman. It was classic of what you wanted to see from her as a character, and she played it well. She was very believable. For a kid's cartoon show, it's amazing how much layers they played into some of their villains, including Catwoman. Number 4, Cameron Bakudova? Bakudova? If I'm saying that right. She's the little girl from Gotham. She played young Selena Kyle. You could argue that she's never actually played Catwoman, the character in costume, but she did play Selena Kyle for years, for 5 years. And I will say this, as much as I've complained about Gotham, as much as I've shitted on Gotham for so long while it was on the air, the rants are on the channel in case you want to watch. I will say this, that she was one of the most consistent things about the show that I liked. I thought she was a good actress, especially for her young age. I thought she also pulled off the sides of Selena that had good qualities to her, but also was out for herself. Also didn't know if she could trust Bruce or anyone else for that matter. Number three, Anne Hathaway, who, you say what you want to say about Anne Hathaway as an actress. Some people don't like her. They think she's over the top. They think she's fake and annoying, maybe in real life. But I like how she played the Selena Kyle. You know, whenever she goes undercover or pretends to be somebody else, she does very well with playing the meek, innocent, oh, I don't know what's going on type character. And then she can immediately switch into that sass, into that Selena Kyle that is selfish, is out for herself, does fuck Batman over when it comes to delivering him to Bane. She is trying to clear her past. She has this history that's not exactly touched on, but you can fill in the blanks enough to see that Anne Hathaway is pulling from a dark place and that she does resent people, rich people. She does have this fuck the world attitude for a reason. And then when she turns good, when she does feel bad about stuff that happened with Batman, she does team with him. She does come around at the end and save him. And they do end up together. It's one of the few stories where Batman and Catwoman actually run away together and live a good life, as far as we know. And I love that. Number two, Zoe Kravitz. Zoe Kravitz is so good in this role. She is. I love the fact that she actually has a reason to be involved. You know, she isn't doing this so much for the selfish reasons as you're used to. She is trying to help her girlfriend who had been kidnapped and eventually murdered. And so she does want to get payback against those people. You know, she works with Batman, but she also isn't indebted to Batman. She will go off and do her own thing if it suits her more. She's more so on the good side in this movie, and I like that because this is a younger Selena. This is a Selena that you actually never hear her call herself Catwoman. And so there's potentially room for her to grow. But that brings me to my number one. After all of these years, all of these decades, all of these different versions of the character that has been played, I still feel like Michelle Pfeiffer is number one. Now, I know Michelle Pfeiffer is not the most realistic version of Catwoman. It can be debated on whether or not Max Schreck kills her early on in the film when he throws her out the window. I would argue that she probably does survive the fall, because I don't really want to sit there and think too much over the idea that she died and then came back to life by cats biting her and doing whatever. The movie does definitely hit on the fact that she has 9 lives, and that's a whole supernatural aspect to the character that I don't know how to feel about. But it's Michelle Pfeiffer's acting. It's the way how she pulls off this character, makes her likable, makes her tragic, makes her somebody that you want to see go the good route. There's so many times where she's almost arguing with herself, where she's talking to herself. Maybe she's just mentally ill. There's so much going on with Michelle Pfeiffer. Her relationship with Michael Keaton, Bruce Wayne. My favorite scene in almost any Batman film, it's definitely up there, is when her and Bruce Wayne are at that party and they both realize who each other are. They look at each other and she is genuinely scared and doesn't know what to do next. Does this mean we should start fighting? Like, she is so lost in life. And it's just, if it wasn't for her acting, if this was a different actress portraying her, you would not have this level of complexity. You would not have that level of emotion brought to the character. Let me know in the comments below, what are your rankings of actresses that have played Catwoman? Who are your favorite? Who is your least favorite? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.